Hello world, welcome back to Furman Jeep in beautiful Luz, Florida. I'm Jason Speed, and the 2024 Jeep Wrangler have a 12.3 inch infotainment center touchscreen on it. I'm going to go through the screens and especially the settings and show you pretty much everything it has to offer. Check it out. Okay, so 12.3 inch touchscreen on the 2024 Jeep Wrangler. Decided to do this video because there was guests that were asking me about specific things that I can walk you through in the settings. So I figured I'd just show kind of what I would go over during a new vehicle delivery as far as the new screen goes. So every screen below the home screen is like a full screen, right? You have the radio that has the AM and FM and the option for the satellite radio, Bluetooth of course, or if you have the USB plugged in down below, or the aux plug if you still use that. You have on the satellite radio, you can change the channel by going left to right. You can scroll through whatever you like to do that way, or you could use the dial on the left or on the right to go left to right for that. Well, of course, you could use the 10 dots and dial in a specific radio station. The other option, of course, is on the steering wheel. You have the voice control where you hit that button and say whatever radio station you want. Same thing with AM, FM, dial in a radio station, right? So you just hit go and then boom, you're there. What's really nice is on the media, you can select different frequencies in your preset. So for example, if 95.5 was my jam, I would hold down 1 and boom, 95.5. Preset 2, I can make it any frequency I want. If I like AM, FM radio, or if I like satellite radio, I can do it any way I want to without having to flip back and forth between the screens. Okay? Your comfort screen, you do have the full screen for the AC, dual climate control and a lot of options, or you have all the hard buttons down below that will do the same thing. So you don't need to be on the climate control screen to be able to control the climate, but it's nice to have it on the screen. Your Bluetooth, of course, your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, all wireless now in the 12.3. And then your vehicle settings will all be in the vehicle icon when you go into setting. Controls, of course, you can pull out the backup camera anytime. And you can see it has the active guidelines that have been in turn with the steering wheel. The home button is an option that you can split. So if you go to add page, I can choose the layout if I want 2 or 3 pieces of information that's there, but I can split the screen into 2 or 3. So like if I do this, I can say I want to add let's say the now playing to the radio. And I want, if it had navigation, you have the option for navigation or your climate control or whatever you wanted to add as a shortcut to be on the split screen. Now, if I go back to vehicle, I'll go into settings and I'll go through this one by one, and I'll make sure I label this in the screen in the description so you can see exactly where in the video if there's something specific that you're trying to find about the Wrangler. So the first setting in the Wrangler is the display settings. You have language, obviously we have English, I believe Spanish and French. Italian is on there now too, that's nice. Choose your language preference. The display mode, auto, is how bright the screen is. So if you, and there's little information icons on there if you ever want to see more about what that setting is. But auto is how bright the screen is. Now there's a second mode right here. This is the theme mode, is in auto as well. So what that means when both of those are in auto is in the daytime, the screen will be white like it is now. And at nighttime, it'll be dark like this if you switch it to dark mode. So it's not so bright in your face at night. Now the manual option up top, you can adjust the brightness or daytime or nighttime, however bright or dim that you'd like it. You can also adjust those brightness settings when the headlights are on like they are now. You can hit the vertical dial next to the headlights, and you can see if you turn that up how bright it gets versus turning it down, it being dimmer. But when the headlights are not on, I like to leave it in auto. Units, I always want to make sure that the units are in the preferred mode. Most people prefer US versus the metric system for the rest of the world. So you have miles per hour, miles, pounds per square inch, Fahrenheit, and current fuel consumption is in miles per gallon. So that's everything based on the US standard industry. You have the touchscreen. If you're the type of person that likes the screen to beep every time you touch it, that option is what you want selected. Show main category labels, that's the category right here. If you wanted to turn that off, it would just be the clean look of the icons, but some people want to know what those icons are, so we leave those on. and then phone pop up in display cluster. That is the steering wheel screen, or the screen behind the steering wheel. When you are receiving phone calls, you'll have the information on the phone call on that screen and on this screen as well. Now, an important note about Bluetooth connected devices: if you answer on the steering wheel or on the screen, it will be in the speakers in the vehicle. If you only answer on your phone, it'll take it out the speakers and only be on your phone. So if you need to have a private conversation, you can answer on your phone, etc., etc. All right. Profile settings: everything that we set up in here are going to be linked to your profile. You can go right up top in that little icon there and go into profile settings. We'll go into more than that in just a little bit. We'll go back to vehicle settings, safety and driving assistance. Now, the first option in safety and driving is automatic emergency braking. You click on that. You have the forward collision warning, warning plus active braking. You have the option to have it off, the only warning, or the warning plus active braking. So if it's warning plus active braking, the forward collision warning system will take over if it senses that you are approaching an object too rapidly or too fast, and it will actually apply the brakes to help prevent an accident at best, or mediate an accident, slowing you down, reducing damage and injury potential. You have the forward collision sensitivity. Most people like medium. Far, of course, would be the safest, or if you're a daredevil and you want it on near, stop it as close as you can to the vehicle in front of you. You have rear park sense volume, the option to turn it to low, medium, or high, depending on what option you want. If you want to be more alert for blind spot, you have the option for if it's equipped with blind spot, and most of them are now, but you can still get it without it. But if it's equipped with blind spot, on the mirrors, you have the triangle that will let you know when there's a vehicle next to you while you're moving. And if your turn signal's on the same time as that indicator is, then the lights and chime option will actually chime on the inside to let you know, hey, you're about to change lanes, but there's someone over there, right? So you can have it off, you can have it just the lights, or you can have it lights and chime. Most people prefer both lights and chime. Hill start assist. So if you're on a hill, instead of allowing the vehicle to roll backwards, it's going to keep you on that hill and allow you to move forward whenever you hit the gas. And then tire fill assist is really nice. As long as you have the engine running, when you go to put air in the tire, it'll actually sound the horn and beep the lights when you have enough air in the tire. Clock and date. You have set time. If you want to, if it's not synced with GPS, of course, you can dial it up or dial it down. If it is synced with GPS, you can turn that option off if you're the type of person that likes to set their clock fast so that you're not late for anything. But you do have 12 and 24-hour format. You have the time and the status bar, of course. The set date, today is the 29th of May. And of course, the time during the off screen is really nice, because if you hit the screen off button here, it displays a nice clean look of the time and date. So you don't have to have any of the distractions on there. Okay, clock and date. Next option down will be the phone and Bluetooth. Of course, the other screen where you compare, delete, or change information about the Bluetooth devices that are connected. The camera, the two options that you have are the active guidelines that are selected now, like I showed you, where the backup camera lines will bend and turn with the steering wheel, kind of let you go of a more precise location of where you're turning and where you're turning into. But the backup camera delay I really like, because once you go from reverse to drive, it keeps the camera on for a few more seconds, up to I think it's up to 8 seconds or 10 miles an hour, whichever comes first, just so that you can make sure you're not dragging anything away, or if you're doing 3-point turn, you keep it on the screen. Mirrors and wipers. You have headlights on with wipers. Anytime you turn the wipers on, the headlights will come on. With lights, you have the headlight off delay, which is 30, 60, 90, or even 0 seconds is how long the headlights will stay on after you turn the Jeep off. Likewise, headlight illumination on approach. When you're walking up, hitting the unlock button on the key fob, the headlights will come on, of course. They'll stay on for, again, 0, 30, 60, or 90 seconds, depending on where we had it set. Headlights with wipers we've already seen. Auto dim high beams. If you have that option on, of course, you have your high beams flipped forward to where they will auto engage when it's dark. They will turn automatically off when there's another vehicle coming, or when it's bright enough where you don't need your high beams. So essentially any light coming back at it, it'll turn off. The daytime running lights are really nice. And then what is the last option is a flashlights with lock. Anytime you hit the lock button on the key fob, it flashes the lights to let you know that it received a signal and that you can confirm that the doors are locked. Doors and lock. Auto door lock is something that I always enable on every guest that I have. So when you put the vehicle in drive and you start moving, a few seconds later, the doors will lock by themselves. Auto unlock on exit. I actually, for a lot of my female guests, and you'll see this in another video that I did about the performance, the safety, vulnerability aspect of it when you're out in public in everyday situations. But for a lot of my female guests, I turn this auto unlock on exit off. So again, kind of reverse, if you're putting it in park and you open one of the front doors, all the other doors will stay locked. Okay? So, flashlights with lock we've already seen. When you hit the button on the key fob, the lights will flash. Sound horn. Some people don't like the horn on the key lock, so you have the option to turn it off. It'll be on every press or every other press are your three options for the lock button and the horn. Sound horn with remote start. If your vehicle is equipped with remote start, it's that button here. You hit twice on the key fob and it'll start the motor. If the horn beeps twice, the motor will start. If it only beeps once, it'll let you know on the driver information display why the vehicle didn't start. Maybe the door was left open, maybe it was low on fuel, whatever the case is, it'll let you know. Sound horn with remote start. One press on the key fob unlocks, again, to be safe, just the driver door, and then all the second press will be all the other doors. Of course, you can have it the other way if you want, but that's the difference between the two. And passive key, if you have a vehicle that is equipped with the button on the handle, that's the proximity key or passive key. So if you walk up and as long as the key fob is on your person, in your purse, in your pocket, whatever have you, you could drop your hand in the door handle to unlock the door, or when you leave, you could push the button on the door handle to lock it. You don't have to pull the key fob out and actually hit the button on the key fob. So that is doors and locks. Seats and comfort. If you are in a Jeep that is equipped with the heated seats, none of them have vented seats yet, but if you're equipped with a Jeep that has heated seats and steering wheel, it'll automatically come on in 37 degrees or less. So depending on how you start it, if you want it on where the heated seats come on 37 degrees or less in remote start, then you can select that. Or if you want it to come on in 37 degrees or less in all starts, that would be the other option. So whether you hit the remote start or you come in here and you turn it on, the heated seats will come on if it's 37 degrees or less outside. Key off options. You have the key off, power off delay, which I always turn to the maximum time, which in most cases is 10 minutes. What that means is if you turn the Jeep off, your windows and your radio will still work until you open one of the front doors to kill that circuit. Right now, door off, power off delay, if you had that time set, it would run that time, and the only way to turn it off is by hitting the power button. The headlight off delay, we've already seen 0, 30, 60, or 90 seconds. Aux switches are down below in the lower right-hand corner of the console. So if you are adding any accessories like lights or anything that you can put on a switch, there's wires that are under the dash and under the hood that you can splice accessories to, and the switch is already mounted on the console. The nice thing about that is that you can set one of those to be the power source to be with the ignition or just the battery, and then you can even have it recall last. So if you turn it off and it was off, you turn it back on, it's going to be off, or vice versa if it's on. So that's super nice in the Wrangler world where accessorizing is a big deal. Audio. Now the audio settings are really cool in the new 12.3 inch screen because you have the digital balance fade. I'm going to turn this up for a second so you can hear it, but you can take the speaker and actually move it anywhere inside that box. And I don't know if you're going to be able to tell from my microphone where the sound goes different in the car, but that's your digital balance fade, right? Now you have the equalizer as well. You can have as much bass, mids, or treble as you like as far as the equalizer goes, and that's something that you can touch anywhere on the bar or drag it or hit the plus or minus if you like to take your time with it. Speed adjust volume. I don't know anyone who still uses this, but as you can see, it increases volume level relative to the increase in vehicle speed. Likewise, as you slow down, it'll turn down as well. 1, 2, and max is the severity of how it turns down. The only practical real world example I can think of that would be if you're pulling into a bank or fast food drive-through where you want to make sure you communicate with the teller or the employee, the music turns down by itself. Most of the time, if you're in a Wrangler, people like their music loud. That's an option, of course. You have the aux volume offset. Again, if you're the type of person that still uses the aux cord, then you have it where you can offset it if it's distorted or if it's too loud or anything like that. Auto play. If you have anything plugged into the USB or USB-C and this option is on, if there's any audio on that device, be it music, books, podcasts, whatever it is, that audio source will automatically play if you have it plugged in, okay? Auto on radio, you can have it where it's auto on, auto off. Every time you turn the car off, it'll be in one of those settings. Or recall last means wherever your volume and radio station is, it'll be there when you get out and get back in. Volume adjustment, anything that's coming out of the speakers, like the radio volume, you can turn up or down as it's coming out of the speakers, or you can go to this screen and find the individual one. If your phone call ring is too loud, or if the person talking on the phone is too loud, you can turn up as they're in the speakers. Likewise, if you have the navigation, if the navigation voice is too loud, as she's talking over the radio, you could turn the volume down on the navigation voice. Okay, that's it for audio settings. Notifications, obviously you want to make sure you're notified for anything that can happen in the car. App drawer or new text message or anything like that, you want to make sure you're notified. Of course, you can turn those options off if you wanted to. Sirius XM setup is usually done by way of tablet in the new ownership purchasing process. Before you take delivery, we go through a delivery confirmation process on the tablet that usually sets up your Sirius XM satellite, and I believe the subscription is good for 6 months. Of course, you can pay for it after if you wanted to. And then software updates are downloadable over your own personal Wi-Fi at home, over-the-air updates. So what you do is, if you get the email or notification on the screen that you have a software update, you would pull up to your driveway or in your garage, and you would look for your home Wi-Fi and type in the network, or type in the password for it, and it'll let you know what software updates available and allow you to download it right then and there, instead of having to come to a dealership. System information will be your current version of the software that you have. And of course, every few years when you trade your car in and you come and ask for speed again, we'll reset and clear all your information off so that you're ready for your new one and no one has your old information. Apps, it's not like an app store where you can add new apps, but it is broken down into the category of like the vehicle or the phone or the system or anything like that. You can see all the different apps. You do have a mobile hotspot option, but going back into, and you can star any one of these to have as favorites, right? Now, what I typically do is once I have all of the screen options set up the way they like them, is I then go into profile and I select on the guest name, driver one, right? You type in their name there. The avatar, you have options like animals, brand, character, colors, main, sports, whatever you want in there, right? I'm a big football fan. I'll have football saved as my profile. And then the cloud account, the welcome pop-up, you can have it large or small, where it says welcome speed every time you get in. Delete profile if you're done with that driver and they don't drive the car anymore. And then you can find out what is linked to your profile, literally everything that we just set, and more settings where you can go and change those settings as well. Now, in another vehicle, I will link here, you can see exactly how to set your key fob to the memory profile if you have memory seats in there. So otherwise, it would just be a matter of changing a profile, adding a profile, anything like that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I know that is a ton of information, but that's the beauty of it being on video, that you can go back and rewind it and fast forward it to wherever part of the video that you need. If you'd like to see this channel grow, please like and subscribe, and come visit me on State Road 54 at Furman Jeep in Lutz. If you would like to get into a brand new Jeep or even something pre-owned, I'm more than happy to go to work for you. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great, glorious day.